So an overwhelming amount of people wanted a voiceover for this video. I put a poll on my Instagram and you guys all chose voiceover, so here's a voiceover. Today's video, I was just going for abstract art. I didn't have a true plan set in stone. I just started making small balls of clay that were different colors and just started going at it that way. I had absolutely no idea where this project was going when I started. I was just kind of letting myself go with the flow, just do whatever my hands wanted. I think it was like 3 a.m. when I was making this art, so I was not very awake when I was doing it. I was just making, creating, and seeing where it would bring me. To mix in the color, I would make a little divot in the clay and then add it in the paint and then mix it around that way. I noticed it's a cleaner method to do it, but as you can still see on my gloves, it's not the cleanest, but it's cleaner than if you just kind of blob paint on top and try to mix it that way, because more of the paint will get on your hands than inside the clay. So you'll also waste a little less paint if you do it that way, if you ever want to try to do it. Also, I do advise wearing gloves, though, because you will get paint on you no matter what. And it's just easier to clean up by taking off gloves than trying to wash paint off your fingers. Especially because it'll get underneath your nails, too, and trying to clean paint out from under your nails is no fun. You have to do it a lot. This is where I actually start the project. So I was just rolling out a bunch of little strips. I was finding different tools to roll out with too, because you would stick to the wooden dowel, but not as much to the plastic glue stick. Then I'd come in with my X-Acto knife and cut the strips to whatever size I thought felt right. I still wasn't sure what I was doing, but I thought maybe it would look pretty in the end, just kind of going with the flow and just letting my hands take control. I was just flattening it out with the toothpick to just make sure that it's got straight sides. So here's the start of whatever my abstract project was. I guess it kind of looks like a bush in the end, but spoilers. So I just come in and then I folded them kind of to look like ribbons and stuff. I thought that would be very natural and nice looking. And I was definitely enjoying it. I couldn't quite figure out how to prop up the toothpick in the beginning to not squash the project. And you'll later see that I figured out how, but currently I just keep squashing it, and it became a little frustrating trying to come back and fix up the spots that had been squashed. But it turned out okay in the end, which is what I was going for the most part. Just cutting more strips. I did pink, purple, and blue. I realized after I was like finishing the project that those are like the bi flag colors. So like it's a little abstract bi art, if you will. And those colors also just go together so beautifully. They just work. There's not a lot of color combinations that work that well, but for some reason the pink, blue, and purple just go together so beautifully. It's amazing. I love it. And I was just kind of picking and choosing. I had no rhyme or reason to why I was doing anything. It was just kind of, well, this might look good here. Will this look good here? Maybe I should do this. And there was no in-depth thought process for this video, which is why I was kind of disappointed you guys all picked voiceover for this on my Instagram poll, but it's okay. I needed a voiceover somewhere in my channel. I would just fold over the things, just do what I thought looked nice. I keep saying it has no rhyme or reason. I just would grab and fold over. I think while I was making this, I was watching other artists' YouTube videos, so I would randomly draw inspiration from that and just see like their different art and just go, oh, I like that line, it's so flowy, I wonder if I could recreate it in one of these strips or something like that. And it was a fun little project to work on. And because I didn't have a set goal for it, I could just do whatever I wanted, and it was honestly really relaxing, and it just helped with a lot of stress that I've been feeling lately, just trying to get all these videos out and work at a full-time job as well. So just having a nice project where I didn't feel like I had to make it perfect was really nice. Just going in and just doing whatever I wanted, not worrying that I'm drawing the second eye wrong or I can't get the hands right or something. It's just colors thrown in. I didn't feel like I had to mix the colors to a certain point. I just mixed what I thought looked good at the time and went with it. And it was really nice and relaxing. It was a nice project, and I really would recommend doing something like this if you're feeling stressed, because it just kind of gets your mind off everything else and just lets you zone out and just enjoy yourself. And in the end, you might like the project, and if not, you didn't put a whole lot of effort into it, so it's not super regretful if you do just end up destroying it later. And then, because this is polymer clay, I could easily reuse it later if I did destroy it, but I did bake it and make it a final project in the end. But you don't have to if you don't want to, if you do this. As I got lower on the project, I was making the strips longer, and that was just because they weren't wrapping up as high, and it just looked better. And it kind of just wrapped up it and made it so you could still see all the colors underneath it, but it would also have its own centerpiece and not leave too much of the not as pretty bottom edges revealed. I had fun with that little ribbon there. It got quite a few folds in it. This is where I figured out how to hold the project without squashing it. I was like, wait, why can't I just put it in the big ball of clay, and then it sits upright for me the whole time? Which was much easier to work with too, because then I wasn't having to try to maneuver the toothpick in my hand too, to also avoid crushing it more with my fingers. And then I just kept switching back and forth between the purple, the blue, and the pink. I had 2 different shades of pink and 2 different shades of purple. I just thought the one slightly more pastel looked pretty, but I also liked the other color, so I was like, let's just use both. There's no reason I can't. Yeah, I felt like I couldn't quite get it on the toothpick if I cut that one thinner originally, so that's why I cut it on it. And then just rolled it into a little cute spiral. I was liking the different ribbon fold and spiral fold that I was doing. I just thought they looked so nice together, just folded around each other, spiraling. It was very fluid and relaxing. I don't know if the better ways to describe this. I keep using the same 3 words. I should have scripted this beforehand. Yeah, but it was fun just making this and just not caring what the end product would be, and just letting my fingers do all the work and not thinking about it, and just knowing that there was no way to make it perfect. It was perfect the way it was, which made this project really nice. just knowing that there was no true end goal for it, that whatever I did is more than enough for this project, and it was good enough however I did it. And I think people should think about more things like that. You know, it's good enough. You don't need to make it perfect, and perfect is the way it is. There's no way to further improve on some things. It was just a fun little project to work on. Just going through. This is where I tried to fix up some of the little, like, squashed parts, especially closer to the top. So this is what it looked like before I baked it. It's a fun little thing. I'm surprised there's not more cracks and stuff in the clay, because I've noticed when you mix clay with paint, it tends to crack. Then I put it into my oven, got it all baked, and do be sure to use oven mitts when you pull hot things out, because they are hot. So then I pulled it out of the oven, and I wanted to do something with it, so I found a little earring end, and I super glued that on. And then I wrapped around a strip of pink clay around the top of it, just to blend it into it, so it didn't quite look like I was just floating on top. Then I baked that and put that on the thing so that it would just look a little better. And at that point, I had broken the top off of it. And I was so sad, but I also had the super glue with me, so I glued it back on. It's got a little crack in it, but it's not too bad. Another part broke off too. But yeah, here's the little end of the earring. If you want it, you can DM me on, like, my Instagram. I'll totally sell it to you. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!